G'day, my name's Wilfred West from Locksport, Victoria, Australia. Welcome to Locksport, the home of online gaming, wonderful views and Australian wildlife. I do hope you like these videos, if so please subscribe. G'day everyone, how you all going? My name's Wilfred West from Locksport, Victoria, Australia. And welcome back to a very unusual boxing, because we've got not just one thing we're going to be unboxing today, it's going to be multiple items. The first item we're going to be, well, one of the items we're going to be unboxing is just a HDMI to DVI-D adapter, male to female black. Display, it's a cable mod. Then I've got a display port to DVI male to female adapter. Now, they're just two small items. I'm not quite sure what type of graphics card I'm getting, so I'm trying to figure out what items, what I could possibly use to adapt the right cable to the monitor system I've got at the moment. The next item we've got on is the Hero. It's a Logitech G502 Hero RGB gaming mouse with 16K sensor. And the second one we got, which is the most important one really, and it's not the whole box, is the Corsair RM8 850X Gold power supply. Right, so it's an 850W power supply, but it had 800X there and that. So let's get stuck into it, shall we? Now this is of course the packaging you can get from PC Case Gear. The other side has all my information on it, so we don't need to see that. And PC Case Gear do really good packaging. I have no complaints whatsoever how they packaged it. And also the delivery time was brilliant. Yes, okay, they'll close over Christmas time. I had to wait till after New Year's before they opened up again. But that was worth it. It gave me a chance to do more research and to think about what I wanted to buy. So let's get this unboxed. Get it wrapping first. Come on, off you go. I'm hoping that black plastic is recyclable. There we go, try to get that more into the center. Just a box. And the power supply. Ah, beautiful looking thing, isn't it? So let's take out what we got here. I'm thinking take out this. Now that's where they had the airbag things. I call them airbags, but these are the adapters. So it all depends on what graphics card I buy. These will just basically slide in. I can use the existing cables that will go straight onto these, because I've got gold cables that will go onto those. This one here is exactly the same thing, but a different adapter, so I wasn't quite sure. So that comes down to what graphics card. I can always hang on to them for other ones, or later if somebody else wants one. I'm thinking that one might be the one I need. I might have to get two of those, or maybe two of those, and I might be able to use one of these, don't know yet. Take out the back. Oh boy, that's heavy. And we'll take this out, and we'll remove this box out of the way. Just another box with new storage stuff in, or we can do that. We'll do the mouse first, and then we'll work on that. Now the product of the mouse, or the mouse box I should say, it looks pretty much not bad actually for a mouse. I'm used to more expensive mouses than this, but the company that used to make them, I don't think makes the mice anymore, or keyboards for that matter, and they used to make some really high-end mouses and keyboards, the Mad Catz one, and I'm disappointed that they no longer in business. Can we just lift that up there? Well, just trying to find the easiest way to open this without damaging the box itself too much, because I like to keep the box. Because what if I want to sell this, or if I upgrade the mice and I want to keep this mice and just leave it stored somewhere, it's better I'll just put it back in its original box, and that way there it can just sit there, and if I need to send it to somebody else I can just send it in the original box, and it's a lot easier than packaging that way. So let's have a look inside. So what does it come with? Okay. Comes with a sticker. Yeah, okay. Sticker's kind of a bit of a letdown, bit of a more of a gimmick than anything else, and it comes with a keep gaming. We believe that life is more fun when you play. We're honoured that you've chosen to bring our gaming gear into your home, so please accept the heartfelt thanks, the Logitech team. Well, that's actually quite nice. It's simple, but nice touch to a product, which is quite. Now that there, I'm actually impressed. Now, this is what you get here, the standard one. And let's open this up, shall we? Simple. And ooh, now that is nice looking. Wow, have a look at this. This is really, really nice. I'm liking. Oh yeah, I like this because I can actually rest my thumb without actually dragging on the bloody thing. And you've got a button here, which is absolutely awesome. We've got a button there. So I'll probably use one of these top buttons here for push to talk for when I'm playing on Discord and stuff like that. But that could be very useful when I'm playing a lot of games. You've got other buttons there. You've got your normal, what's the name, lock that locks that into there. And you've got the other ones. You got your standard. And wow, the cable's nice. I'm going to hook it up to my other computer today, and we'll go from there. It feels quite weighty, would you believe? I don't know if it comes with extra weights or not, but by itself, that feels really, really good. Kind of impressed with it actually. What else we got here? What's this? G502 Hero. That's it. What's it telling you here? Oh, you can modify it. Wow. Now that's impressive. If I can open it up, that is. Just standalone, this is worth getting. I don't know if you can see that, but that's we can actually modify it. And that just comes with a warranty thing, information thingamajiggy. Now what is in this box? What is this? This thing here came in a little plastic thing here. Let's have a look what's in it. Oh! These must be weights. How do I get those onto that? Here's the question mark. Open up the bottom. On here, I can open up the bottom, I think. Somehow that bottom opens up. Does it tell me how? I think it just must be here. Yep, that comes off. And you can put the weights in. Even though that's a weighty thing, I might just throw all the weights in here. Simple lift off one plastic cover. It doesn't really say, it just shows you the picture of it. And then it shows you putting the weights into here. I'm hoping that's what this does. Hoping they don't have to go in any particular order. They just sort of slide in. Oh, come on. This is actually worth the wait. And just to unbox it alone and just to... Yeah, it's kind of enjoyable. And get the other two weights out. Maybe you make a spare one there. Well, hope it's not. Oh, come on. I think you need nails in this thing. Ah, that's it. I think we might be running out of space. Don't know where I'm going to put this one though. Kind of like that kind of defeats the purpose. What do you have, an extra one here? 36 grams. 36 or 36 grams. So there's an extra one here which you can't do anything about. So you put all the weights into there, but you got an extra one, which kind of defeats the purpose of having all those weights. Unless you put it some other angle, maybe. Aha. Here we are. There we go. Just be careful not to touch the anything there. That's where it goes. Aha. I can't wait to have this plugged up into the computer because this will go well with the keyboard. So that's how. Excuse me, this other stuff out the way. So that's how that goes. I'm very much impressed, and it's a little bit of weight extra to the thing, but we'll see how that pans out in the future. And that should just click back into place, I hope. And okay. That's fine, that's pushed down enough. And it should just click back into place. Come on. No. No. No, that's a bit of a miss thing here. And it does take you, but got to put a little bit of pressure to get it back into place. So I'm a bit hesitant about this part. It might be a little cheap on the design part because there's no way I would have found it. I would have made it a slide or something like that. I would have changed something there on that, but it's a little bit hesitant trying to get back into place. It still wants to pop out, so that's something you've got to be careful about when you're using it. But it feels good. Right, just on here, and that feels. Oh wow! Look at the spin on that. The spin just doing that like that. That could come in handy in a lot of games. I'm liking the feel. With my big hands, I'm still like, don't like the way my fingers dragging on the thing. Yeah, it's just before the Mad Cat's mouses. Okay. Now I won't show you the Mad Cat's mouse, because the Mad Cat's mouse has a much better feel to it than when you're playing games and that. Fingers never drag on anything on them, and no other mouse company has competed. Actually, I will go get it now. I'll show you the mouse I've got. I'll be back in a minute. I want to show you the comparison of the mouse I love to have, but no one makes anymore and you can't buy it anymore. And I would like to get a company to take it over and to do it. Like even these would be fantastic to do it, and adding these little bit extra things. I'll be back a minute. Now, with the magic of editing, This is the mouse that I think pretty much supersedes all other mices. The cable's a nice braided cable. This was about, I think, a $300 or $400 mouse. You have, like when you're playing, this is how your hand sits. So your hand never none of your fingers ever touch the table. You have buttons there, you have your normal controls there, you have a side one there that you can turn. It's a bit tight at the moment. You have that, it has that same principle there. I think it was on this one. One of these ones here that made it free will. Can't remember. But you had another button there, and you had a button there, plus you got these buttons there. And not only that, on your thumb, had a button here. You can see that there. Had this button, this button, this button. Sorry, it's a bit grotty. It hasn't been used for a long time. And you have the, you have like a joystick which has 4 functions minimum you could actually do. Plus you got that button in there. Now, to me, this was the king of all mouses. I'm disappointed the company has not continued on or done well. You can put actually weights into here and so forth like that. This feels good, has a bit more, has a bit better like with how the thumb is, but they need something with it for the pinky. Like, and it also had a button there, so yeah, another button there, so I didn't even realise that one there. There's so many different buttons, but your hand, my hand felt perfect on this mouse. It's like none of my fingers, it could be a hot day, it could be sweaty, whatever, but your fingers never touch the table. So it still works, but as I said before, it needs to be replaced. Things need to be cleaned up on it. Some of the functions just don't work on it anymore, like that button is missing. And I think this button is gone here. Now all I had to do was tweak this design a bit more to make it last longer, and it'll be actually worth it, and it'll still be the king of mouses to me as far as I'm concerned. This I'm happy with price wise, and having chatting to the people I know who actually have this mice, it is a pretty much good thing, but I'd like to have something here to rest my pinky on. But I like the joystick actually on this mouse. So that was just a quick comparison of one of the mice I used to have. I used to have the same keyboard, like a keyboard too, which is an old keyboard over 5 years old, and that still worked really brilliantly too. So now let's move all this stuff out the way. We don't need that anymore. We don't need that. That can go in the bin. That actually no, I'm going to keep that. I don't need that. I want to keep this just in case we had to change back to a mouse with. At the moment I'm using another Logitech mouse. It's technically a keyless wireless mouse. You can use it, but it's wired and wireless. But I use it wired at the moment because it didn't really work wireless. Like what was it, Bluetooth? I think it was. I can't remember which one it was. Let that go back in. Oh well, just sit on there then. Oh, okay, don't need. Yeah, don't worry about it, we'll fix it up later. I'm babbling, I know. Now, let's go to the last bit of unboxing. This thing here. Now, absolutely beautiful. Let's have a look at the case, have a look at the box itself. And the box is well designed. They're always well designed, the Corsair boxes. And I only go for the Corsair power supply, and I only go for gold. Simple as that. My Corsair power supply I have in my case at the moment, that's a 1200 watt gold power supply, completely modular, which I always go for modular too, because you only need the cables in your computer that you need. You don't need extra cables, you don't need anything. If you don't need it in your computer, just cluttering it up. It's taking up room, but you can have something else there, you know what I mean? And stopping airflow and other things, if you want to call it that way, as well. So let's have a look at this. I might have to get actually one more fan, I think, for the computer I've got, the case I've got. So that one comes with one fan in it, but and actually Corsair has It stood the test of time when it comes to power supplies. They've tried other things and that's failed. Because I had a Corsair case, and the next thing they were going to bring out was a complete control thing for that, and that kind of like died in the butt. I even managed to get hold of the bloke in America trying to get a copy of the program, but it sort of died in the butt. Something else took it over. So how am I? Okay. Like that. That just pop open like that. It's been a while since I opened up one of these. It literally has been a while. So what we get here is, holy Batman, that's a thick, very thick high performance manual. It's a very thick manual, and it covers multiple languages, and it just tells you that. It's one of the thickest manuals I come across for a power supply. Let's be honest with you. That's a decent size. Now, then we've got port information, and pretty much it's just, yeah, caution electrical shock hazard, blah blah blah. Yeah, okay. Common sense comes down to, if you know what you're doing, make sure everything's properly. This is a good idea. So that way, therefore, it's travelling. Now, this is the power cord you've got for it. Simple, sweet, easy. Oh, this is good touch. It comes with screws and some cables, and of course here logo, which is, I like this sticker and it looks awesome and it looks good on my Corsair case. So actually, sorry, two things Corsair make is cases and power supply, and I find these the best manufacturers in both cases and power supply. If I could afford to buy the Corsair case, I probably would have. Now the bag, yeah, it's not the best feeling material, but yeah, the other bag is, I've got one, the first one, the 1200 watt power supply has a better feel of bag to it. These have not changed, and all the time I've owned a Corsair power supply, these have not changed. The material, I don't know, shinier. Okay, let's pause here. I'm going to get if I can find it, I'm going to get the other bag I've got, which is the Corsair 1200 watt gold power supply bag, and it's still got cables in there, and we'll compare them to these ones. The magic of time and space. Now, this is the, okay, we'll just move this out of the way first of all, but we'll do a comparison in a minute. We'll have a quick look at the power supply, and then we'll put it back in its box and we'll leave it there till we're ready to do the build. So pretty much 100% modular, that's what you want in a power supply. Alright. Oh, that's a neat touch. I like that. That is a very good touch. And that you got the switch there, that's pretty much it there. It's pretty much the same as the other one I got. It gives you all the ports. I'll give you not all ports, all the powers. All the power solution where you want to go where. So I'll throw this back into the back in here. But honestly, this is not going to be used till we are ready for the power supply itself. So that can go in there. We'll leave until we're ready to do the build. So I just wanted to show you that, but I want to compare you to a 5-year-old bag that I've got from my Corsair one to the latest one. I'll put everything back later. So let's bring them both up. That's the shiny one. So there's the shiny one there, and this one here is 5 years old. Same material, this one just has less shine, different logo slightly. You can see how they changed the logo here from 5 years ago. This looks more like a boat. This, I don't know what that resembles these days. That just looks like maybe ice picks or tooth. That doesn't look as good as this. Honestly, they should have stuck with this logo. Well, this has been sitting here for 5 years. That's pretty much probably it. That's it. Yeah. So I could still use these things with that, but I won't, because I want to use these first, and then I'll go from there. That's pretty much the same thing. We just get the same two cables out. That there is a 8-pin connector, 8-pin or 6-pin connector. You can have that one. Now that's 5 years old, still in good condition. Going off an 8-pin connector here, that just came out of the box. It's pretty much almost identical, except they've changed the sleeving here. They've made that longer. I'll take this out and we'll compare the length of them, and we'll compare the length and also the feel of it. Oh, come on, we're going to do this. Spinning it around the wrong way. And the look of it. Actually, that's a different one. Sorry, that's a double 8-pin connector here. So you're going to have two. Do I got a single one? A single 8-pin connector. No, that's a double. Okay, here's a solid 8-pin connector. That's a 8-pin and a 4-pin, I think, connector. No, it's a solid 8-pin connector. Solid 8-pin connector. I'm just trying to find a similar one. That's an interesting one to have. A double 8-pin connector. I think I've got one in here. I'll have to have a look. But that might be for maybe using a 4-pin connector, maybe two different graphics cards. I don't know, or something else. I'm not quite sure. It's a PCI thing. Yeah, I have to redo it all again, rememorize and that. So here we have found a CPU one. That's CPU. It's actually marked on the thing. That's a PCI too. Yeah. So they are the same. Hold on. That's a PCI. PCI, but that's another one that has two of those the same again. That is that a PCI or a CPU? That's a CPU, so we can compare that one and that one. We'll compare these two to. No, they're the same ones from there. I'm trying to find a single PCI one that doesn't have a double there, which is kind of interesting. I've got 3 PCI ones into there. It doesn't look like it's going to let me have one in there. That's interesting. They've got that little adapter which comes with everything. Okay, so we can't compare, or we could compare it because that's just a single CPI. Does that come with a double one? These are extra goodies I've had over time and I've used for other things. But pretty much Corsair hasn't changed. But this is a single PCI one from pretty much a 5-year-old power supply, which is pretty good. They've only got the double ones, which is unusual. It's a thicker cable because you're probably running a double one. But depends on if I only need 1 or 2 PCI things. Or do I need 2 8-pin, 2 6-pin? I'm going to work on that one, but I've got a spare one here now from the old computer, from the old case, and we'll work on that one. So that's an interesting. I've got 3 of those, but I don't think I need 3 of those. But that's interesting. So with that in mind, let's see if we can find. That's an extra cable I got from elsewhere. I'm trying to find any other cable that I can compare it with. These are pretty much haven't changed. They're still the same material. 5 years old versus today. So there's no difference in those. take all this stuff out here. There we go, have a look down the bottom of the box here. What have we got? Got another PCIe one. So it all depends on what I'm going to have to do with this card, because I've only got, does it come with a single PCI one? That's the only thing. No, it doesn't. It all comes with those other ones, and that's the 24 pin one, which I can't pull out the other computer. These are the basic ones for that type of power. I don't think I'll ever use those ones in this build. It's all going to be SSD cards. There's going to be nothing in the build that's going to need these at all whatsoever. This they'll definitely use, and I'm going to be having that that one cable takes up to 4, which comes in handy. That one does 2, and that one there does 3. That one's good because that will go to the side of the case, the back of the case I should say, because I'm eventually going to have 3 SSD drives on the back of that one. This one is good because I can actually have 4 SSDs into the drive slots I want to have, because I'm getting just 2 drive slots. You can put 2 hard drives in there, but eventually I'm going to have 4 SSDs. Now I'm going to have another 1 SSD somewhere, which then leaves only that one there for an SSD, or if I've got one in the older one here. Do I have an old one? Yeah, I've got an old one, and I can use one of these ones as well. And let's have a look at it. If I can pull one apart. Oh, this one does a lot. This one does 1, 2. Hold on. Unplug that one there. Ah, that's an extra one. That's an interesting little extra add-on for that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, sorry, yeah, 4. That does 4, and that's 5 years old. So eventually I'm going to have just all 8 terabytes of SSD basically. So I can't compare any other cables to these ones, but the material feels the same. It's just, even though this one here is 5 years old, it's still just as this one here. It's a little bit duller, but that's all you can see. It's still shiny, it still feels the same, it still does the same thing. Sorry, it's a little, compared to that one there, it's a little bit duller and thinner. But it all comes down to what I'm going to use these for. I believe these are just PCI. I think these are for the graphics cards. I think. I'm not quite sure. I know this one goes to. It's been a while since I've built a computer, so I'm going to have to rethink everything. This one I know goes to the motherboard, and the PCI, I think that goes to the graphics card. That goes for your CPU. Now it all depends on the motherboard, what other connections I put into it. I can use. There's another CPU one there as well, so I've got 2 CPUs I can use for that. And yes, this will go for the power for your graphics card. Now I'm only putting 1 graphics card in there, so this is kind of useless, and that's all I have in here, which is kind of annoying. There's something a bit of a letdown, I think, in this whole box. They've doubled up on this, which is, instead of just having 1 power going through there, going to one sort of like graphics card, you're splitting it at power going to 2 graphics cards, or if the graphics card does need 2 of them. If the graphics card needs 2 of them, I can just use one of those. But if the graphic card only needs to use one, I'll probably use this. But everything else in here is pretty much stock standard. And I'm quite happy with it. I'm very happy with how it's set up. But you can compare the difference though to 5 years old and it's still in perfect condition. It's just been sitting in there. Some of the stuff here, like I bought extra and all that, and I've made up, like this one here I bought because I thought I was going to need that for the motherboard, comparative distance and that, but I didn't really need it. But I've got it there anyway. These I've still got here. I don't, let's have a look at the ones we've got in the latest ones. Didn't actually come already. Did it actually come with those? Just got those. I don't think it came with those. Or unless I bought those afterwards. I don't think, yeah, I'm not quite sure if that came with them, but I've got 2 in the case as well at the moment, which I'll just, I'm only going to use 2 SSDs in the case. I might actually end up putting 3 in there. If I put 3 into the case plus the 2 ones I want to put onto the motherboard, then I'll get that. Then I might have to look at the cables. This is an old one, older cable, so I don't know if I'll use these. If they're still usable, I'll use them. If not, we will have a look at it and see, because we can always swap and change now since we've got pretty much. This will swap with these ones, no problems, because they're purely modular, both Corsair, and this is why I always stick with one brand. And actually, I said before, Corsair to me make the best cases and make the best power supplies, hands down. I've never had a problem with a Corsair power supply once. So if you want to get gold, that's the one you want to get really as a power supply. And that's just my personal opinion. That's all. The only thing that changed is the logo. This does feel a bit better. Bag size, they're pretty much the same. Honestly, I'm not a fan of the change of that. That to me looks much better than this one ever could. But the case is still good. This is still good. Sitting there like that for 5 years and pretty much no dust on it. And I can swap and change parts. So that will go back to there. This will go back away. So I'll put everything back. Anyway, it's a beautiful case. Oh, it's a beautiful power supply, I should say, and the mouse and the connectors. Now the connectors, didn't open them up before, so I'll open them up if we can. You're going to be a pain with the connectors, because I don't know, as I said before, what one I want to get, and all depends on the graphics card. Depends on what one I use. So this one here goes into there, so that might be worthwhile into one of them. This other one though might be better because it's more fixed compared to the other one. So I might have to rethink it. Once I get that now closer to buying the graphics card, then I'll decide exactly if I do need connections. Will that slide into that graphics card or not? Well, once I get the graphics card, I'll figure out, will these actually go into that particular graphics card I'm after? If that's not the case, then I'm going to have to figure out if I do need adapters, and if so, what type of adapters I'm going to need with the graphics card. Because there's no point building a computer and then finding, oh, I can't hook it up to a monitor to even test it. Okay, I don't want to go back into there. There we go. So pretty much that's all there is for unboxing, and thank you for spending the time with me and chatting about different things. And oh yeah, on the case it shows you what you get on here. Yeah, you don't get those other ones. That came with the motherboard, I believe. Those other ones are hooked onto the for your CPU, for your hard drives and all that. Sorry about that. But thank you anyway for listening to me babbling on about the unboxing thing. I'm going to hook this one up to my main computer, and if I've got time to tonight, I'll give it a quick test run. If not, I can wait till tomorrow night. But this here, I'm in two minds about. They're not going to hunt down the right graphics card. Once I get the graphics card I want, then I can work out if these are worth it or not. If they're not worth it, not that much money. It's only wasn't about 24 bucks all up for those. So that's a relevant cost. And I'll just sit in the box. I've got a plastic box full of other things like this that will sit into there. So if I've got spare things for other people who may need these adapters in the future, so I'm not worried about that. But I'm just going to have to sit down and work out what I want to get and stuff like that. Well, thank you for watching my unboxing videos. My name's Wilfred West from Locksport, Victoria, Australia, signing off. Thank you again for watching my videos, and all comments are welcome. And the snoring you can hear in the background is Roxy, my niece's dog. I'm looking after her for whenever they feel like they want a home. They were supposed to go home this week, but oh well. I'm not going to worry about that. Well, she'll go home when she wants to, when they want her home. She's been good. Sometimes barks at 1 o'clock in the morning for no apparent reason. But she's a beautiful little dog. Yeah. It smells, but beautiful. Anyway, thank you again for watching my videos, and all comments are welcome. And you all have a great day now.